pre-match, so I think at this stage we could be stuck with it for the remainder.
I keep looking for you, and I thought you looked as though you're underneath one of those covers that the cameramen have got. I am.
I'm down here cringing by myself with my raincoat on, and I can tell you this, the Italian trousers I've got on won't be lasting me much longer.
Yeah, the dye comes out as well. Did you know that? Particularly in the underwear.
Only on your pairs, Nigel.
4 minutes to half-time then. 13-0 Australia. Well, the whole game virtually in its entirety played in this half, but not a great deal to show for it. And that owes something to the Canadians' efforts in defence. That's got knocked forward in the tackle.
Australia just beginning to put one or two phases together, but it's a fantastic double team tackle
there on George Smith.
Can you confirm the time, please, Lyndon? Lyndon,
could you tell the referee it's 3.5 minutes to go in this half?
Let me tell you why that was the case earlier, Nigel, when he said there was 29 minutes. On the big screens here, which you can't see from your position, there was 17 minutes showing on the clock, and even myself had to have a look at my watch just to make sure that I wasn't seeing things. But
that's why the Australians were sort of coasting a bit.
Absolutely.
Just sort of trying to, if his game's going to be sort of 2.5 times as long as usual.
It could be. Let me tell you this, I went and watched Connacht play Cast over in Galway about 2 weeks before the World Cup, and I think there was more intensity and passion in that game than I've seen in this.
leave it, that's good.
3 minutes to go. It's Chris Latham. Well, it's been a remarkable recovery. Just thinking of something else to think of with regard to Chris Latham, who's one of my favourite talents over the years to watch. But he's had knee surgery and has scarcely been in action in recent times. It's a lovely kick.
And you have to say, Australia playing the right tactical game, you know, put the ball down in the Canadian 22, make them attack from deep, and, you know, it makes it very, very difficult to Canada, who, you know, if one's honest, don't have the same sort of firepower that the Wallabies have.
No.
Goal numbers.
DTH van der Merwe, the youngster who's come through, South African born, his name would imply, but Canadian resident, and I take my hat off to Rick Saggett, because he's deliberately, apart from the nucleus of old hands, he's deliberately brought some nurturing, some very young talent, and given them the experience which, you know, is invaluable. And you look at, say, the wing three-quarters, and certainly some of the back row forwards too. 22-year-old David Biddle, 24-year-old Sean Michael Stephen, and this, well, one of the older ones actually, James Pritchard here. And they're singing the local rugby songs that you hear at the occasions when Stade Toulousain take the field. And they're lovely old songs. They're not, they're just sort of for the region, from the region, part of the Toulouse culture.
Hang on, lads, hang on.
Any late night Saturday in a cafe, you'll hear them till some unbelievable hours in the morning. Or more regularly these days on a Sunday, because a lot of the games on a Sunday. Last minute. Not a great deal to shout about, other than the fact that Canada have survived, much to their credit, the expected onslaught, which has not been translated into points. It's been there in terms of territory and possession. Not a bad tactic from Huxley. Might have done it a bit earlier, particularly with misses like that. The cover of Justin Mensah-Coker.
Let's play, that went back. Hold it, Red, hold it. No.
Still in play. Drew Mitchell and Chris Latham up that far flank. Latham it was, who just plants it back now. I want to try before half-time if they can. Takiri. Shepherd, my good, well, it rather sums it up in a way.
Well,
oh dear, not the greatest pass, and as the final whistle goes for this first half, moments to reflect on for Australia and for John Connolly, I think.
well, as you said, it rather sums up Australia's first half. That long pass out just couldn't be held by Cameron Shepherd after a nice break by Tukiri, and you know, conditions not helping, but you just expect a side of Australia's calibre and quality to be a little bit more precise, a little bit more accurate. And, you know, they really should be more than 13 points ahead.
13-0 to Australia at half-time.
Say next weekend.
This was good, well controlled. Might have resorted to it a little sooner in the game, these conditions, and not much else going right. Clearly they're a stronger pack, and there was the rumble and the try for Adam Freer. Yes, I mean, you watched last night. I was on the train, I didn't see it, but what about the comparison? Is it possible to make any comparison with England-Australia here as a neutral from Scotland?
A neutral from Scotland. I mean, I think it was interesting. I mean, very different sides. I mean, Tonga offered a very different challenge to England than Canada are offering Australia. I mean, they look pretty good. The one thing that you know, I think England would be a little bit concerned about would be their midfield defence. Johnny Wilkinson and Ollie Barkley didn't really click in the midfield, and actually when Andy Farrell came on to replace Barkley, things looked a lot more secure. And you know, I just wonder, I mean, there's been a lot talked about Andy Farrell, whether Brian Ashton will think about bringing him into the midfield alongside Johnny Wilkinson. Partly for his organisational skills as well as his physical presence. But you know, they did look a little bit vulnerable in the midfield, but I mean, they took their opportunities well. They scored a couple of good tries in the first half, and they scored them at really important times as well.
And the difficulty in comparing them, in the sense is that, you know, this is basically Australia B and that was England A.
Absolutely, yeah.
Serge Blanco was pretty happy to see that sort of try in the end. A lot of supporters, every nation. It's a lovely city, Bordeaux. These ghost-like figures, terrific. Beautiful pedestrianised centre to Bordeaux, which I always love to visit. And not a bad region for wine either, David.
No, we've got a...
This is nice. Tulson will be so jealous.
Oh, he will be jealous.
We're not opening it till the end, Tulson. So here they come. Didn't seem to have the spare set of gear. They're wearing the same suits. Shabal gets everywhere these days. It's become a folk hero over here. It's launched a pop song or something, I heard. I think I heard something on the radio which they said was Shabal. Well, it sounded like he looks. That's not being rude. I think it was a sort of rap. I don't know. I'm not up in these things, but it was entertaining, I think. So, 40 minutes to go. And for these guys, well, that nucleus I've mentioned a few times, their grand farewell to the international scene.
Well, I think what Canada need to do is really try and get possession and string a few phases of play together. They just haven't. They've been denied possession in this first half by Australia, and you just sense Australia had a stranglehold on both territory and possession. So we'll see whether they can do anything different in the second half.
All set for the next 40 minutes then. It's not a winning lead in normal circumstances. You wouldn't sit on 13-0. Australia 13, quarter-finalists assured. Canada, well, they'd drawn a game, they lost the other two, but not by vast margins. They would love a win. It's a long shot, but who knows in this weird game of rugby union football. Great take that was. Brilliant start by Mark Chisholm. Not quite sure what game Julian Huxley's really been playing at fly half, and almost spectacular. Pritchard on the wide outside with Munro coming up here. There's a bit of the sort of Scottish Gaelic Highland game stuff there. He's tossing the rugby ball, not the caber. Yeah, I think Huxley in a way has fallen between two stools, hasn't he? I mean, neither sort of putting up the high balls and not occasionally trying to launch the threes. I don't know. Oh, well, set them up.
Well, it's interesting. For me, he should have stuck the high ball up there. You know, in these sorts of conditions, you don't run from 30 yards from your line. Just,
Ashley Cooper will not thank him there. He got man and ball, and the penalty end result, and could be just the start Canada wants to this second half.
Well, you do wonder if Canada are able to put one or two phases of play together, whether they will actually trouble Australia.
I think they're missing Larkham and Barnes today, I have to say. Here are Canada's chances with James Pritchard. Yes, he's kicked very well this tournament, absolutely superb. And there, the lift that his team needed and the crowd have loved, and all really because of that. Big tackle by Cooper, Ashley Cooper. By Daybuck on Ashley Cooper, shouldn't I say. Well, 10 points, nothing. 3 minutes gone of this second half.
It is very, very slippery out there.
Yeah, but, even so.
Number 6, make sure we stay on 6. Number 9.
Who's under no pressure.
Don't touch anyone. Closer, please. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Sam Cordingley. And again the scrum half. No spring chicken. 31. Next. Swansea's had a spell there in Grenoble, and here's Tukiri trying to carry it on, trying to get some momentum going. It's sort of not really fizzed yet, and Chisholm is held. Canada closing the gaps well. Accordingly again. This time Morgan Williams, good spoiling scrum half, always has been. Australia back to square one. That was John Thiel getting accordingly out of the way. This is good work by Canada, really. David Lyons, oh, he's strong. Played all 7 games in the last World Cup. Big powerhouse of a man, but has only had relatively few games back since missing the whole of last year. Looks like he's gone down now as well, which is a worry for Australia.
Number 4, careful as you join the ruck.
Had trouble with calf muscles and deep vein thrombosis, I know. David Lyons, who's lying there still on the deck.
Number 3.
Might need to stop the game here if it's coming in that direction.
Tackle and move, good.
Well, there's no way through. It's never looked like being penetrated here. Well taken. From Drew Mitchell.
Oh, wait, Red, don't touch Red, don't touch Red, no.
Again, it's Daper with impact. Accordingly, all credit to Canada, as I can say. They have covered everything there.
Well, they have, and they're slowing the ball down very well. Partly slowing the ball down, but partly Australia aren't clearing it out well enough. And, you know, as soon as it gets slowed down, it just gives 2 or 3 seconds for the Canadian defence to get organised and then to line people up. And great skills, good tackle, and good offload there to Drew Mitchell. But, you know, when they start putting a little bit